How you doing? And welcome back to Objectively Biased with me, your host, the Objective One, the Fog, Steve Fogmag. And today we're going to discuss two topics. I'm going to discuss basketball, and I'm going to get into football. We're going to do basketball first because we'll save the best for last. But basketball, we're going to discuss LaVar Ball and his comments since he's been recently in the media over the course of the last month in regards to his son, Lonzo Ball, first, second pick of the draft coming up in the NBA, and the kid's a definite baller. But LaVar Ball's comments in regards to his son being better than Steph Curry right now and all the other hoopla surrounding this guy. So let's get into it. All right, so let's get into LaVar Ball and his comments. Now, some people may call him inflammatory that he was comparing his son to Steph Curry, who's an 8-year veteran in the league and established himself as one of the premier players in the NBA. But I understand and can respect a father's confidence. Like I said, the kid is a baller. Lonzo Ball is definitely going to be a pro, and he's going to be a very good one. He's got the size, the athleticism. Yeah, he's got a herky-jerky type of shot, but it's okay. If it goes in, who gives a damn? Okay? But when you're trying to, what seems to be living vicariously through your son, well, that's a problem. So Charles Barkley recently called him out on it and basically told him, shut up. Let your son be your son. Your life, you lived it already. It's done. Allow this kid to be him, create himself, find himself, create his brand, if you will. And LaVar Ball was recently on Colin Cowherd's show on FS1, and he had this response to Charles Barkley.
If Charles thought like me, maybe he'd win a championship.
Oh, that hurts.
Oh yeah, it hurt. Because he's saying sometimes when stuff come out of people's mouth, it's just stupid.
Now, I love it. Charles Barkley doesn't stay quiet. And while I can understand LaVar Ball's response and his I guess, being upset, again, shut up. And Charles Barkley came back like only Charles Barkley can do and had this to say.
Your son's life is his life. It's not yours. No matter what his son accomplished, it's not his. So I wish his son nothing but the best. The kid's a hell of a player. But I don't like when parents interject. I don't even think we should be interviewing people's parents. Like, I have very strict rules on my family. Shut the fuck up. I'm the one who's doing this. When they come to you, and like I said, he can be proud of his kid, but I'm not I didn't win a championship. I tell you what, I'm all right. I will compare my exploits to Mr. Ball's.
And see, there it is. Echoing my sentiments exactly. Living vicariously through your son. Let your son be your son. You're doing more damage right now, LaVar Ball, for your son Lonzo than any good. Because see, when he comes into the league, all people are going to remember is not the way the kid balls, not how he plays, because most of us, especially on the East Coast, we don't really get to see UCLA games. But we get to hear your mouth. And not for nothing, there's not a lot of people that like you. They want you to shut up. At least that's the consensus with the fan base. So you're making your son's life harder than it needs to be because you are now looking for the spotlight. A spotlight that, hey, listen, you lived your life. You had a chance to get that spotlight. You see, LaVar Ball is the kind of guy, the kind of father that during a little recreational game or during his son's little basketball games, his AAU games probably, was in the stands screaming, yelling, cursing at the refs, saying, what are you doing? How could this be? Blah, 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 like some kind of crazed lunatic, and everybody else sitting in the stands going like, this motherfucker over here. Nobody likes that guy, LaVar Ball. Nobody does. Quite frankly, you're a jackass. And if you want to do some good for your child, like a father should, zip it. Don't say nothing. Be quiet. Because see, silence is golden in this case. And your son, his skills speak for themselves. He doesn't need daddy to come talking for him, let alone fuck it up for him. All right, so now that we got LaVar Ball all the way out of the way, we're going to discuss football. And we're going to discuss Bill Polian. Now, let me preface by saying this. I have a great deal of respect and admiration for Bill Polian. He's a great football mind. He's a Hall of Fame GM. He knows his stuff. But I think before these old-timers start speaking, especially in the media, we should probably start testing for all-timers. Because the shit he said was just outlandish. When he turned around and he was quoted as saying, Randy Moss and Terrell Owens are not Hall of Famers. Now, I did an episode. It was called Is T.O. a Hall of Famer or not? A couple months back in regards to him being left off the Hall of Fame ballot yet again. And I was challenging Jason Whitlock and his asinine comments about how, well, I don't see any sign on the Hall of Fame saying that it's all about stats. People, the reason why you have stat nerds nowadays, the reason why we dissect players is because of their stats and what they did during the time that they were playing the game. Now, I could understand if Randy Moss and Terrell Owens weren't second and third, respectively, in total receiving yards, in total touchdowns. If Terrell Owens wasn't a top 10 guy in receptions in NFL history, if Randy Moss wasn't sitting at the 15 spot in receptions in NFL history, I could understand if they were borderline Hall of Famers and you wanted to use their character against them, saying, you know what, this guy was a shitty teammate. He's borderline. The hell with it. We ain't going to put him in. I can respect that. But when you've got two guys, one in Randy Moss, who Bill Polian said, well, he took plays off. Goddamn, for a guy who took plays off, he really put numbers up. And a guy who was, quote unquote, a distraction in the locker room, which he was. Well, Bill Parcells says he tore that locker room up in Dallas. Yeah, Bill Parcells also said he still belongs in the Hall of Fame. Donovan McNabb, who probably hates Terrell Owens' guts, on Mike and Mike said he belongs in the Hall of Fame. So two people who experienced Terrell Owens. Polian, you didn't experience him. Two people who dealt with Terrell Owens. One is a coach, one is a player. Two people who, quite frankly, and will openly admit they don't like Terrell Owens, both said he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Randy Moss's numbers speak for themselves. And I agree, he took plays off. Hell, he looked like he took 2 seasons off and still put historic numbers up. Bottom line is, to turn around and say these guys don't belong in the Hall of Fame, it's stupid. It's stupid. That's like saying, eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and saying, you know what, jelly doesn't belong with peanut butter. This is an atrocity. I don't want, no, you know what? I don't want that bonus. I didn't deserve it. That's too much money. These guys belong in the Hall of Fame, for Christ's sake. And for anybody, and I mean anybody, and I say it here now, I don't want to be disrespectful, but if you believe that Owens and Moss don't belong in the Hall of Fame, you don't know shit about football, your opinion is worth toilet paper, and you don't belong conversating in public settings with other people in regards to sports, because you, my friend, are a dummy. Plain and simple. Also, people were bringing up race, as that could be a possible issue. I'll be the first person to call people out on race all day. Does racism exist? Absolutely. Is it as prominent as it was in the 50s and 60s? Yes, it's just masked and evolved in a different way. But racism wasn't what Bill Polian's comments were based on, or anybody else, any of these dumbass sport writers who are choosing to leave him off, well, Moss and Owens off the Hall of Fame ballots. Has nothing to do with race. There are only 2 wide receivers in NFL history. 2 wide receivers. Steve Largent and Jerry Rice, who were first ballot Hall of Famers. Okay? They were the only first ballot Hall of Famers. Wide receivers kind of get left as an afterthought. They're not first ballot Hall of Famers. So, Moss and Owens not being first ballot Hall of Famers, I can absolutely understand that. For anyone to bring race as an issue and say it's racially motivated, you're stupid. You're probably a racist too. Fact of the matter is, when Steve Largent got inducted into the Hall of Fame, he was holding all the receiving records that now Jerry Rice holds. Well, isn't that ironic that both of those guys were first ballot Hall of Famers? So no. Owens and Moss, well, Moss is obviously going to not be inducted as a first ballot Hall of Famer. But Owens being left off, it's not that surprising, and it shouldn't be. And there shouldn't be a conversation revolved around race. Of all the other racial tension type issues that we have going on in this country because of Donald Trump, this isn't one of them. So keep race out of it, and let's just call it for what it is. Ignorant people who just didn't like Moss and Owens' character. That's it. Thank you for watching Objectively Biased. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Stephen Fogmeg. Follow me on Instagram, S_Fogmeg. And on Twitter handle, The Fog, @SFogmeg. And I'd appreciate your comments and some feedback on this, as this seems to be a very, very touchy topic between LaVar Ball and also Bill Polian, and the fact that Moss and Owens aren't in the Hall of Fame, or may not get into the Hall of Fame, or in opinions shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. So please, comments are welcome. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, watch, and enjoy.